Welcome back to the Cornelia Stephanie Show with my beautiful co-host Donette Palmore. Welcome to the show, Donette.
Thank you. It's great to be here. And to answer the question to the end of the show is yes, I'm in.
I'm in. We're
And let's
in
change
about
people's lives.
making that money and getting our foundations cleaned up and getting out of debt and getting prepared for the holidays because that's what you want us to talk about today. You want
Yes.
to talk about preparing for the holidays because in the notes I read that you were saying that people just, the holidays sneak up on us. And then all of a sudden, it's like, credit cards, credit cards, credit cards. And then next thing you know, comes January and it's like, people get depressed and are in way over their head and created much more debt than they intended to do. So with today's show, you want to talk about how not to do that again, make those bad
Right.
habits, right?
Yes. It's a vicious cycle that people can and do get caught up in every single year. And I mean, can you believe it's the last quarter of the year and the holidays are like right around the corner? I mean, it is here. And everybody, I think, is going into panic mode because nobody is really financially ready, especially with all the stuff that we have had happen this year. I was doing all this research trying to find out how much money do people spend in the last 3 months of the year. Can you guess what it is?
No, I can't.
It's $1.5 trillion.
Really?
Yes, and that is not including birthdays and events that also come up sometimes during these last few months. 1.5 trillion in the last 3 months on holidays. Christmas, I looked up Halloween, Thanksgiving, Hanukkah, Christmas, and New Year's.
Wow, that's a lot.
Incredible, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And that averages out to about $12,000 per household.
Wow.
That's a big chunk of money, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is all for gifts and food. It's not even an investment. We're just kind of spending it. And so how does this happen? How does this happen? And here is I see this with a lot of my clients. I see it with people out there. I totally get it. I spent a ton of money at the last 3 months of the year. I wouldn't doubt if I was one of those ones spending $12,000 in the last 3 months of the year. I'm pretty sure I probably was. Don't tell my husband. He might have a heart attack. But we have 6 kids, and I wasn't paying attention, obviously, right? Buying costumes, meals, gifts, decorations, all these things that come up at this time of year. Basically, I just went in the store and threw everything in the cart. Whatever I wanted, I just threw it in the cart, never gave it a second thought,
Mhm.
it up, didn't care about it, just did it. At Christmas time, here's something I did at Christmas that was kind of crazy. All of my kids got an equal amount of gifts. So here was my logic pre getting my life together, right? I would say, okay, I'm going to get them all 5 gifts. They get like one big one and 4 smaller ones, plus their whatever goes in their stocking. But we think, oh, that's cheap. But you know what I put in there? Gift cards, which can add up pretty quick, right? So I would go shopping, start shopping. I wasn't keeping track. So when I would put everything out and start making a list of who got what and what it was and all that, if I had bought one person 7 gifts, what do you think I did? I actually made sure everybody else had 7 gifts.
Yeah.
Instead of taking those 2 gifts back, I just bought more. It was so crazy. And we would have these big parties, which I love. If you know me, I love to have parties. We entertain all the time. But I made sure everybody that walked into my house had something under that tree for them. And that can get really, really expensive and it can get out of control pretty quick. Plus, we have several birthdays during this time. So I may have been maybe a little bit on the higher end of that $12,000.
Yeah. I bet a lot of people, I bet there's a lot of people that can recognize themselves in your story, in the habits, in those habits. They're just unconscious and until you change the game, right?
Exactly. And that's what it is. And like I've said before, 7 years ago is when I became intentional with my money. I got fed up with it. I was tired of it. I wanted something different. And this is where I changed my behavior. I no longer was putting whatever in my basket. I had a set amount for each and every holiday, each and every birthday, and each amount I was going to spend on each person, all the way down to that. I make a list of who and what I'm going to buy people, how much they are going to get spent on them. And you know what? I stick to that. And it's cut my budget, or my spending, I should say, way in half in the last few months of this year, or in a year, I should say.
Yeah, so you feel pretty relaxed going into the holiday season because you know what you are going to do. You know how much money you're going to spend. You know what you're going to do. You're organized and you know what you're going to do. So you feel more relaxed going into it with all the stress that's going on anyway. And you've got it included in your budget, which is what you're doing all the time, helping people create a better lifestyle with their money, right?
Right, exactly. And I'm going in stress free. I'm not stressed about it one bit. What stresses me out is actually having to go out and do the shopping. That's
Yeah.
what stresses me out.
Now,
But
do you do your shopping in the store? I do a lot of shopping online. Do you do shopping online?
well, it's evolved over the years because my kids are now adults, but now we have grandkids, and now that we don't have a Toys R Us anymore, it's devastating because I can't go in there and buy all these toys. Um, so it's probably a mixture of both. I'm not sure what this year will look like. Um, it probably will be mostly online because I'm super busy right now, and I'm okay with that. And if that's the path that you need to take this year, you need to be okay with that too. I think making sure we don't create we create as less stress as we can around this time of year so that we can actually enjoy it. I think we get so wrapped up in all of this stuff that we're not stopping to actually enjoy not just the holiday and what it stands for, but the people that are around us.
Yeah, I think this is so important. I talked about this on the previous show, and I said, is it just me or is everybody in an extreme rush and hurry? Is it just me or do I feel like everybody's chasing and running around like crazy and missing these connections, maybe solutions that they've been praying for, asking for, or the amazing connections that you can have with people if you're just so running around so stressed and not able to see what's going on right in front of you. Do you find that that's happening in your area?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think with, us not being able to get together as much, with all this stuff with COVID going on, people are also hesitant to do that. But I think through all this COVID, I really um, been able, and I think a lot of people have spend that time with the people in our household and the people that we love and care about. Um, and even though what has it been, 8 or 9 months? It seems like such a short time ago that this all started, and now here we are at the end of the year. I mean, this started at the beginning of the year, and here we are, and 2020 is almost over. It's like it blows my mind. So I think on top of that, yeah, it's stressful, and people aren't connecting when they're stressed out.
That's true. That's true. It's good that you're going to introduce us to our guests here when we're going to take a break here in just a few minutes. And we've got about 2 minutes, and you're going to take a break. And then when we come back, you're going to introduce us to our guests, and we're going to talk about how to prepare, right? What to do,
Yes.
not to be all stressed out. I did one of the processes a little bit early this year, and that was I just sat down and I looked at January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, in like those quarters and looked at where I was energetically and where what I
Mm,
thought I was going to be doing. I kind of wrote it out on my journal, and
that's very
it
cool.
it was a really wonderful process because I realized uh, for the first 9 months it was hard go. It was really really hard go, and then all of a sudden I really turned a corner and birthed some new things and paid off some debts, and it just felt like wow, I was kicking ass here, and this felt really good, and then it's getting me all ready for the next 3 months and also more success in 2021, which is what we all want for our businesses and our world, right?
Yep, that's fantastic, and I think we need to do more of that.
Yeah. Yeah. So why don't we take a break, and then when we come back, you'll introduce us to who you brought with you today.
Absolutely. Super excited.
Good, great. Let's take a break, David. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Cornelia Stephanie Donette. It's nice to have you introduce us to your beautiful guests that you're going to introduce us to.
Yes, I am so excited to introduce you guys to these two experts. So, Lamar is a financial coach of Lampshade Consulting. He was born and raised in the greater Birmingham, Alabama area. He married his best friend, Michelle, and together they have a beautiful daughter, Riley Grace. Over the years, Lamar has gained a passion for helping others to stay out of the situation they were in many years ago. Lamar often gets asked, "Why did I start coaching?" This is what he says: "I have been there. My wife and I have found ourselves in a big financial mess over 10 years ago with lots of debt and not enough money to pay all the bills. Luckily, we were able to find a plan that worked for us and cleaned it up after about 4 years of hard work and selling some things that were cherished. I do not want anyone else to ever have to be in that situation. So that's why I chose coaching. Telling my story could help someone avoid the struggles that we went through." And then we have Heather. She is a coach of chaos. Chaos, I messed that up already. She's going to help you not have chaos. Following the crumbles in the chaos of her full-time job as a busy mom of three, a wife to a traveling hubby, and keeping it weird in Austin, Texas, it's safe to say that her life is never boring. In addition to running her coaching business called Chaos and Cookies, she is certified coach for a premier virtual fitness and nutrition program, helping others feel better while sustaining a healthy lifestyle. She gained 10 years of experience as the director of marketing, building multiple court reporting companies, and she is a published writer and content coordinator for neighborhood magazines, where she teaches others how to be more self-sufficient with common household tasks. Every woman should know how their home functions and what to do if something malfunctions, man or no man. With her husband on the road, searching how to on the internet has transformed her into a mommy MacGyver. She doesn't know how I don't know how you have the time. You're like a super mom, is what people say to her. Welcome to the show, Heather and Lamar. I'm so happy you guys are able to be here with us today.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks, Donna. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us a little bit more about your business and who you serve. And Heather, you can start.
Sure. So chaos coordinator, that's what you were digging for. And Chaos and Cookies is a company that kind of came from the health and wellness side of things. And I just wanted to equip and empower moms to have a way to kind of just streamline and take like the mental load off and like kind of dump everything that's here on like paper or somewhere so like they can help others in their home become more self-sufficient, where they're not asking mom or texting her all the time when she leaves the house, and they can just kind of go to like this manual for your house and just be able to look it up. And until you checked it and looked through it, then you can call me. You know, and because that happens with my husband all the time. And so I just try to help kind of streamline, help women be more self-sufficient and kind of give them some freedom to do what they want to do, work on their business, get healthier, you know, free that time up.
That's awesome. Lamar?
Well, cool. Thank you. So I'm one of those, I'm a coach that works with people that are going through life changes. And my focus is pretty much working with people that are going to get married. I take it back. I used to be in the entertainment business. I did that for over 18 years. I'm DJing, MC. I've worked with so many brides, thousands of brides. So I've been there. I know what it's going to take to get married. I know the things you should spend it on, things you shouldn't spend it on, and everything in between that. So I've been there, and I want to get them through that, because going through that, sometimes you feel really trapped. You're scared. You're like, how much it's going to cost? We're going to go broke with this. Are we going to be in debt for the rest of our lives because of the wedding? we've got some simple tools I can use with them, and you help them focus and take control of it and have, the best times of their life, so they're not, broke for the rest of their lives, or in debt. So
That's fantastic. And that just reminded me, we were just at a wedding last weekend, and it was of somebody that I watched grow up,
Mhm.
and he actually had saved up $20,000 to pay for his wedding. I mean, that is amazing, right? It was so cool. And just the difference of being able to not stress out about the finances. It's a world of difference when you're going through anything in your life. So that's really cool. You want to talk a little bit about a time that you were not prepared, like a specific situation or event that you were not prepared in, and just kind of walk us through that and how you overcame it. Lamar, we'll start with you this time.
Cool. Get to go first this time. Oh gosh. I would say I'll take us way back. This was probably 2007. Good situation. This goes back into my story of me and the wife. We're in a lot of debt back then. We had 2 houses. For some reason, we thought it'd be cool to have another house. We'll flip one of those houses. Easy to do. Anybody can flip a house, right? Don't try it. don't get yourself into that. It's a big mess. But the problem with that is we were struggling a little bit. It's like, okay, we got a little room, we got a renter over here, but she broke the house, and now we got to fix that. And then it's like, we don't have enough money coming in to pay this. What about this bill? What about that bill? We're like, this isn't working. This isn't gonna help. So, like with anything else, whether it's a wedding or anything else, we had to find a plan. We had to find, okay, stop. Let's write it down. Let's figure it out. We found a spending plan that worked for us. And just go through the process of writing it down and actually, okay, here's what's coming in. Well, probably put it a little backwards. Well, here's what's going out, and here's what's coming in, and we're like, oh, no wonder we're having problems. That number is negative at the bottom. It shouldn't be like that. We got to work on that. So yeah, we had to sell some things. We had to cut back on food, cut back on groceries, cut back on eating out, whatever it was we cut back on, even to the point of getting the bills down to whatever it could. And we got through that. It took us 4 years to get through it, pay it off, sell the other house. And then cool thing was, after that, we had a bunch of money saved. I moved on from doing entertainment. I lost that job of 18 years, and we were in a good spot. I was able to get to coaching. So, like I said, the main thing is a plan, writing it down and figuring out what's best for you. That's the best way to get through it. So it worked well.
That's fantastic. Wow. What about you, Heather?
Well, for me, being unprepared, it's not really, and I've never really been like that, but something that my husband and I have never really done was like budget and actually like watch what we spend. And because of the times right now, businesses are taking hits and we're having to shift. And, we usually are pretty conservative, and we stay, pretty prepared for stuff like this, but it's going super longer than I think anyone thought of, that we're now like finally on the same page where we're like, we need to like budget, like how much for, do we pay for school, for this, for that, and really break it down to really understand like what's reasonable, and not just kind of like, because we've kind of been good and it's like we're still okay, but you just don't know. You get stuck in that.
Absolutely. Well, that's fantastic. I think you are like one in a gabillion that so congratulations on that.
I need help to get the budget though, because we do like spend, but we now need to like pay more attention just to be more conscious, because money is scary. It's a scary thing for
right now, because there's so many, like you said, so many people had to pivot, so many entrepreneurs. But I think this is one of the things that's great about being an entrepreneur. When we're entrepreneurs, we know how to hustle. We know how to ask for solutions, find solutions. If we're in a situation where there's like debt that needs to be taken care of, then it's like, okay, here's the debt amount, and then what are we going to do about it right now? What are we going to do as an entrepreneur? How can we, boom, get this done? And I did a Facebook Live yesterday where I talked about an incredible story to Marianne Williamson. when she ran for president. To be able to say that I ran for president, what a
That's
legacy!
pretty cool.
To make that statement, I ran for president not too long ago, and you know, and then COVID hit, and then she had to also pivot with what she was doing. Like she started promoting then all the people that are up and coming in the political arena, and she started focusing there. And she goes, and now what I'm doing, and now what needs to be done is I have to pay off my campaign debt. And that campaign debt is $168,000. And I was like, wow, talk about humility and talk about power. Because when you speak to that elephant and you say, that's what has to be done. And then she said, I contacted some of my colleagues and we're going to be putting on an event. And that event is going to be for 2 days. And and all that money that's going to be made from that event is going to pay off her debt. And that right there is a powerful model of leadership, of taking care of it, of solving a problem.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty cool to be able to say I ran for president. That's fantastic. So as being a coach and probably most of us talking to people and friends and family, we find that most are not prepared, not just financially, but in every area of their life. I mean, estate planning, death, do people have life insurance, emergencies, natural disasters, and even with their careers, some are not prepared. They're just kind of winging it and going through life. And these are all huge things that we should be planning for, but yet we neglect them. So what are some things that you have seen or heard people struggle with when it comes to being prepared?
I guess for my business, like that's what I deal with. I'm trying to prepare that. I have that brain that since my husband travels, I maybe it's a little morbid, but I'm always thinking the worst. Like, what if his plane goes down? What? Because I'm a mom of 3. They're young kids, and so I'm home, and he is our breadwinner, like, and that just kind of goes through. And I don't work anymore when it comes to like an actual structured job. And I think that people that are just unprepared don't know, like for instance, I don't know that side of it. I want to know exactly what I'm dealing with because you want to feel prepared and not feel out of control, and just trying to kind of just streamline, because that's really big right now for people, is to get everything kind of together because everything is so unsure in the world right now. We're trying to control what we actually can, which is our environment that we live in, which is our house and our space. And so people are trying to gain control of maybe that closet, or maybe like just their schedule, and trying to just keep their kids out of their hair. So trying to help them kind of, I guess, chunk it and not take it all at once and get overwhelmed. It's really pacing. It's not going to happen all at once, and find what's most important and start there and move forward.
That's perfect.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I don't think most people, they don't know they're not prepared. That may sound a little weird. I don't think they know that they're prepared. I think this year has taught some people that. It's like, wow, I wasn't ready for that. What do you mean I'm going to be at home with the kids in the background with teaching them all this stuff? I'm not prepared for this. I'm not ready for any of this stuff. What do you mean I'm going to be furloughed for 3 months? So those things, we don't know we're not prepared. So, unfortunately, it takes some instance of the pandemic or whatnot to get us and go, hey, we need to look better at that. Whether you're running a restaurant, running a business, running your household, we got to think about some of these things. So yeah, not knowing is a lot of, we didn't know we're not prepared.
That's a great point. Heather, you said that you don't have a real job, and you
What I mean by that is like a structured, like,
yeah.
I'm not getting a paycheck from a corporation. I've always worked for somebody.
Yeah.
Right now I work for me, or I'm like a contractor. So I'm in charge of my destiny. You work as hard, I bring in what I bring in as long, and so for me, that's really hard, because we decided that I was going to stay home with the kids, because we had some, complications early on with some of them, and and he was traveling, and we wanted a parent present. And so when I left, and there was some factors in there, like writing out a non-compete and things like that, I don't know what to do with myself when I'm not like working or financially contributing for me, because I just always have worked my whole life. And so when I say that, I mean, like, I don't like have a corporation, or I'm not on payroll.
Yeah.
I just wanted you, not just you, but everybody to know it's okay.
Yeah.
Having kids is a 24/7 job. You don't get a day off. You don't get an hour off. So I just wanted to recognize that.
Yes, of course. Yeah, I wanted to clarify too, because it's a real job.
Yeah. So I just had a client. I think she texted me last week or the week before. I've only been working with this lady for 2 months, and something really cool happened. And this is about being prepared. 2 months ago, if her car would have broke down, she would not have known what to do. It would have been a disaster. So last week, I got a text from her saying the car broke down, but I didn't think about getting a rental. I didn't think about the stress of what it was going to cost. I just paid for it. I mean, the peace it brings to be prepared. And Lamar, I think you made a great point that people don't realize they're not prepared. And then something comes up and you're like, crap, I just didn't think that was going to happen to me. And I think that happens a lot. So maybe what do you think might be blocking people from being prepared? And was there a time you were blocked by something?
Good question there. A time when I was blocked for that. I'll think about that one. Why are people not prepared? That's a good question. And I think, as some of the focus I think you want today was the holidays. That's a great discussion on that. Why aren't they prepared? Because they're caught up in the holidays. Who's not caught up in, hey, I want to go see this. You got to go buy this. It's the latest thing right now. Oh my gosh, we got to go see the lights. We're going to decorate for Christmas. Got to have this great tree. We just get caught up in it. We don't, we're just not training ourselves or putting the energy in the right place. I guess you could say we got the energy in the wrong place. We got to figure out where the energy is going to go. I think I've caught myself back in the day being blocked. You get caught up in the holidays and go, gosh, it's, okay, we got a present for this person. And like, whoa, stop. Now it's just stop. Like, you know what? I don't have to have that. We don't have to have any of this stuff. So, definitely the holidays are one of those that we got to, be very careful with.
All right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And that's why what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
I think social media and just the way that we receive our information now is a huge factor in how some people like live their daily lives. So they're comparing themselves to maybe somebody else that's showing them like a vision or the view, but that's a very distorted view. It's what they want to see, and they feel like they need to be equal to that, or they'll feel less than if they are comparing. And I feel like it's so skewed, and that's kind of everyone's just trying to reach an unattainable goal at that, like, honestly, because there's no such thing as perfection. You're only seeing what they want. And so you're seeing like the beautiful tablescapes or the beautiful tree that's perfectly decorated, and there's no ornaments on the floor because like the children were not like, my tree has when they were little, no ornaments on the bottom. They were all up on the top because they would just pick at them. And I was like, nope, right? So that's not most people, unless you have a tree that's like in a corner in a room that never ever gets touched, like that's not really real. They probably did it for the photo and that was it.
And it was done by a professional.
Yes, I think that people are comparing themselves too much to others, and so then they get into this like pleasing state, and then I got to get something for this person and this person, and they're not focused, and they need to bring that in and really just look at like big picture, like the big picture, but like what's truly important. Like, don't they say like pick your 5 trusted people that you would tell? Like, look at your real circle, people that will be with you or who's still with you now, especially with this stuff, the hard stuff.
And to add to that, I think people really not only do they not think they're not prepared, but they don't believe it's going to happen to them. Right? Or they'll get to it later, right? Or we just simply don't know how. I know that was my case. I didn't know how to get all this financial stuff done. Budgeting, saving, retirement, planning. Oh my gosh, it was so overwhelming. And there's so much information out there that can make it even more overwhelming. So many voices in the area to say so many different things. And you really got to pick what resonates with you. What brings you peace when you hear that person's voice talking, their program, their solution, and narrow it down to that, and not be overwhelmed by all of it.
Right.
One of the things that I feel that people can do this holiday season is make something for someone. I find lately I've been really getting into that, and I'm really enjoying creativity and making things special. Not, not always, going out and buying something, but making something, a scarf or something like that, something in that way that is simple and that's made with love. And there's so many ways and we can express our love to the people that we have relationship with when it comes to things like that. And I think that people would actually prefer to receive something that's made, handmade, or something like that, even if it's an audio card, a video card, something that they can, see how much effort you put into.
Yeah, it's very touching that they put their time and their effort and their love into it. Very true. So we talked about why people are not prepared, and why in this last quarter that we're in, why people tend to spend the most money and get the most stressed out, and they're the least organized, right? I mean, it's pretty much chaos in the last 3 months. What do you think are some of the dangers of not being prepared? And what are some of the problems it might cause?
I think the closer you get to holidays is when like prices get hiked up, or you're so busy doing things, you do things last minute, and you're just kind of just spending just to get it out of the way, and not like taking your time and shop, price comparisons and stuff like that that maybe you would do if you had longer and more time, when really you do. The holidays don't change. The holidays are these dates. They do not move.
Every year.
Every year they do not move, and that's what drives me insane, like when people aren't prepared, because it's like that's on your calendar, like it doesn't move. It's not a fluid thing. And so we really should put some more time and just really think or plan ahead. And I've got some tips on how you can do that, but you can really, I think, when you get backed in a corner and you're just like spending just to spend, like I'm just going to grab the easiest thing because then they're covered and it's off my plate, but it might
Right.
not be the best for your wallet.
Exactly. Lamar?
Yeah, definitely agree with you on that, especially when it comes to that. So yeah, there's a bunch of dangers. The stressed out part. I'm gonna go a different route with it though. What's really interesting is I've had some clients get really stressed out because they're givers and they want to give to all these different organizations, do all this stuff. They get stressed out about that. And it just kind of blows my mind. It's like, and they're all worried about giving money here, give money there. We always give money to this thing. We always give money to that thing. And it's great they want to do that. But sometimes I got to ground them. But hey, look, there's other ways to give besides with money. So there's some of that too. I just think this time of the year, there's so many people with their hands out asking for money and wanting help that we got to ground our clients in that too and get them on the right track. Because I mean, giving is very important for a lot of our clients. So getting them honed in right, and finding how they can help the right ways instead of going broke trying to give money. That's just a backwards approach. But yeah, that's one of the dangers.
No, totally. And it's added stress, as you guys said. People are going into debt over it, spending too much money, and they're not really enjoying the process and the journey, as we said earlier. And I think people are also stressed and feel so obligated that they tend to overspend, like you said, Lamar. They want to give, but sometimes they can, like, I felt obligated. I had to buy, everybody that came in the door has to have a present. They have to. And sometimes we put this burden on ourselves, but a lot of times, I've heard my clients say it comes from their families. They have these expectations that they have to buy certain things and spend a certain amount of money. And I think we need to have a real conversation around this and about this, because we're going into debt over these expectations, and we're not enjoying it, and we're spending too much money. We're not focusing on being thankful and giving and celebrating, and as you said earlier, Cornelia, enjoying the people who are around us and really being present in that moment. So what are some things they can do to get through the next 3 months with the least amount of financial stress or chaos?
Why don't we pick this up when we come back from break?
Perfect.
Let's take a break and we'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. Wow, we were having a good time behind the scenes. And yeah, so I guess you're going to have to reformulate the question again, Donette, because
Yes,
that's not the
yes.
question. I was having such a good time. I'm already thinking, oh, I want to do this. I want to do this.
So what are some things that people can do now to get through the next 3 months with the least amount of stress, and not only financial, but just everything chaos?
So you go first, Lamar.
Oh, sure, I don't mind. So one of the things we do. So I guess one of the things, first thing to do is let's write it all down. Let's just brainstorm. Get with your significant other. Hey, bring the kids in there. Hey, let's write down everything we possibly either we're going to buy, maybe we're going to spend cooking for Thanksgiving, cooking for Christmas, whatever your traditions are. Writing that stuff down. Presents for certain people. Let's write it all down, and then kind of brainstorm how we're going to handle that. Are we going to get everything on this list? Can we afford that? What's that going to? Maybe put some numbers beside it. What's going to cost? But the main thing is come up with a plan for that. How we're going to pay for that, or how we're going to handle that. Certain things. Or what the discussion we were having during the break was making things on your own. Maybe that's what we're going to do. Make some ornaments on our own for the tree, or for Thanksgiving, for Christmas. So that's just a great way. Just go ahead and plan ahead. Go ahead and brainstorm. So that way it's not a surprise when we go, oh gosh, we forgot about cousin Sue about that. Oh my gosh, she just had 2 babies. We got to make sure we take care of those. No, we take care of it now and writing it all down, so we'll be ready for it.
That's great.
Yep.
And while you're writing it all down, that's like kind of like taking stock of what you have. Like for kids, for instance, toys. I mean, I have 3, and you want to give them new things, but oftentimes people will send you things for them, and maybe it's a different age group, or maybe they're not quite ready. You need to put those away. And I love a good backstock, like just having things. And that's kind of what to do after the holidays. But take stock, find things, maybe find some toys that they have not played with and are really good condition. Put them.
Oh, we lost your sound.
Yeah, Heather, I don't know what happened.
Okay.
Well, on that note, what's really cool about that, I was thinking about that. It reminds me of that reminds me of Toys R Us, Dawnette. We went to Toys R Us when they closed down, and we started buying things, all the stuff. Is she back? Are you good?
Yes, my AirPods picked up. I don't know why. There's no one in the house. There's a ghost. So backstock. So when you find these toys that maybe the kids have not used in a while, and they won't even know if they're really young, regift them or find a way to save money. And it's like Christmas all over again. But find things that you can, repurpose, or maybe not have to rebuy. And donations are also a big deal too. That's a really good way to also make room for the stuff coming in.
That's great. That's something I did with my kids. Right before Christmas, they had to go through and clean out a bunch of their toys to give away before they were able to open.
Oh.
That's hard. And I guess the tip for that too would be, don't ask the little ones if they want it or not, because the answer is always going to be yes. They're going to bring in like, oh, nostalgia. Go through the things that maybe you don't think are going to maybe them miss. Or if there's a question mark next to it, remove it from the space and put it in like the garage or a closet, call it like toy purgatory, where it could come back. It's not really sure. And then if it needs to come back, you can like be the superhero and be like, oh, look what I found. Or if they don't ask for it, like give yourself like a limit, like in 3 months, it's out the door, doesn't come back, then get rid of it. So it's still kind of, you know,
Yeah.
Great tips, you guys. We have just a few minutes left. I want to make sure that we share your social media handle so if people want to connect with you, that they know how to find you. So if you guys wouldn't mind sharing.
Go ahead, Heather.
so you can find me on Instagram at Chaos and Cookies or Heather Steinker, either one. And I'm also on Facebook. My website is www.chaosandcookies.com.
Cool. Yeah, and you find me on Instagram as well too, and Lampshade Consulting, and that's the same thing on Facebook too. So you can find me on there as well too, and I'll LinkedIn as well too. So I got a little bit everywhere for you to find me.
Awesome. Thanks, Donette. I know this always goes by so quick,
No, we never get it all in.
right? So I know, are you taking clients still for the year, or
I
are
am
you
always
booked up? I know you said you're so busy.
I am busy, but yes, I'm taking clients and if you guys, I want to help you guys. Let's make 2021 like the best ever. And the best time to start is now. So go to my website or go to my Instagram. It's proverbsfinancialcoaching.com or at Proverbs Financial Coaching. Book a free consultation. And in the box where it says, what would you like to talk about? Type in October podcast and you will get $200 off my services. I want to help you. I want to get you guys on this right path so that you can enjoy each and every holiday, birthday, event, whatever it is, without feeling guilty because you spent too much or now you got to put it on a credit card and how am I going to pay it off? So imagine if you could go through the next 3 months next year without worry or stress. And I can help you do that. So get to my website or my Instagram and book a consultation.
I mean, now is the time to choose and decide that 2021 is going to be much a better year for you financially and in all things related to living an empowered and inspired life. You know, having financial peace, being empowered financially is a huge game changer. So definitely, it's a no-brainer. Contact on it. What do you want to take us home with, Donette? We got just couple minutes left.
So you guys didn't get anything from this podcast. Get this. Have a plan. Write it down. These are the best things you can do. Go through, just like Lamar said, make a list of who it is you want to buy for, what it is you want to buy for. Include things that people forget about, gifts for teachers or decorations, your Christmas tree, extra food. These are all things that are outside of your normal monthly budget. Make a plan for it. Be realistic about it. And again, if you write it down, like Lamar said, and it's like, oh, I can't do this, then adjust it. It's your budget. It's your spending plan. Just adjust it. And put this in your budget. Make sure you start now saving for things that you're going to do in December. And I think also have those real conversations with your family. If it's tight, you really need to just have those conversations so it's not uncomfortable or, sometimes families just get weird. So just have conversations and let them know what's going on. Hey, we're cutting back this year. Please cut back on our part, or do a gift exchange where they would pick a name out of a hat so you weren't obligated to buy everybody in the family a gift, and really just take time to enjoy this time because it really is about being with the ones that we love and celebrating them.
It's wonderful. All great tips. I really wish for everybody to have a peaceful year end, and then as we begin 2021, feeling more empowered, feeling more centered. 2020 was a master year. I mean, who would have ever thought, huh?
Right.
Who would have ever thought?
So it says we have 2 minutes left. What is one tip that could change our lives today?
I've got one. So when you guys start 2021, after Christmas, that's when you buy your wrapping paper because it's on sale and you buy it for the coming year. If you see a good sale and you know it's going to be something you were going to gift later, grab it then so you're not spending later. Put it away, label it, and you have like a nice little backstock to kind of pull from. So then you're not spending later. You can kind of, keep track and just really make a plan and just be like, okay, and then grab this or that, and try to just be savvy and plan and backstock. I say backstock. Like,
There you go.
Perfect.
have some extras. Never know.
With 3 words. It's just stuff.
That's correct.
That's it, you guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. Thank you for coming on today and sharing your incredible gifts and wisdom and everything you've done in your life to make things better. And we'll see you again next time. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, everyone. Take care.